to XLTips. My name is Neale Blackwood, and in this video we're going to be looking at 3 brand new functions that use something that's been around for a long time, but this is the first time that we've been able to use it in Excel. They're called regular expressions, and they're shortened to regex, and there's 3 new functions in Excel. We can see the result of one of those functions on the screen at the moment. So REGEXEXTRACT allows you to work with unstructured text. In Excel, we've got 3 functions that work really well with structured text. So they're TEXTBEFORE, TEXTAFTER and TEXTSPLIT. So I've done an article and a video on those 3 functions before. You can check out the INTHEBLACK website to track them down. Now they work with structured text. So when you have consistent delimiters or consistent positions within the various parts of the text, then they work really well. However, out in the real world, text gets a little bit messy and most of it is unstructured. And regex patterns allow you to identify certain patterns within the unstructured text. The example I've started off with is fairly complex. What this does is this is extracting the email address from 3 different sentences. We can see here the formula is in B2. I've got it displayed here in A7. You can see the whole string. So I'll explain what all of the characters mean a little later. Some of them are pretty straightforward, like A to Z lowercase, A to Z uppercase, and 0 to 9. So the other ones I'll show you what they mean pretty soon. But basically that text string allows you to identify a standard email address, and in this case to extract it out of the sentence. I'll show you a little bit later at the end of the session how you can create a hyperlink using this technique so that you could email someone very easily just by clicking a cell. So when you are using a pattern, you do need to enclose it in quotation marks. You could put it into a cell. There's an example of that a little later as well, and then just refer to the cell. Okay, so we've seen the REGEXEXTRACT function. There's 2 others. There's REGEXREPLACE and REGEXTEST. So REGEXREPLACE, I didn't give an example of that in the article. So let's have a look. We can modify the extract one here to do that. So a little tip, if you want to copy the whole formula here, you can select it in the formula bar and then Control C, click the X there, come over here, and then I can go Control V, and then I don't need to worry about the relative references when I'm copying it across because it actually pastes it exactly the same. So this one we're going to change to replace. So we're replacing the text in A2. We've got this long pattern here, and what I want to do is replace it with another piece of text. So let's just use ABC in uppercase. Again, you need to put it in quotation marks. And so that will change the sentence and take out the email address and put in ABC. So wherever an email address is in the sentence, then that gets replaced by ABC. So that's the REGEXREPLACE. I don't see a big use for that one unless you want to replace one email with a whole lot of emails with a single email. But I think the REGEXEXTRACT and also the REGEXTEST, which we'll look at a little bit later, I think they're going to be the most useful ones. Also, there's a change to a couple of other functions that allow you to use regex patterns as well. There's XLOOKUP, which we'll got an example of later, and also the XMATCH function. So XMATCH has sort of replaced match, and XMATCH can also use these regex patterns. Okay, speaking of patterns, let's see how we build up these patterns. So table 1 is not comprehensive, okay? There are lots of different characters you can use. These are the most popular ones, so there are more. It's definitely not comprehensive, but you can see you can refer to lowercase letters, uppercase letters, and the numerical digits. You can also refer to digits using the backslash. By the way, the way to figure out whether it's a backslash or a forward slash is it's whichever way it's leaning. So this one's leaning backwards, so it's a backslash. So backslash D is any digit. Backslash W is a word, which includes letters, digits, and the underscore. Backslash B is a word boundary. So that can be Whitespace. We'll talk about Whitespace in a minute. It's a concept you've got to sort of get your head around. And also the end of the text. So a word boundary can be useful when you're trying to pick up an individual word that should be by itself. The backslash S stands for whitespace. So whitespace is obviously the space character, but it's also things like a tab, new lines, carriage returns, and form feeds. So when you get data from systems and the internet, often you will get things like line feeds or form feeds in the data, and so they're treated as what's called whitespace. And if you use the backslash capital S, that's everything except whitespace characters. Now the quantifiers, they sort of allow you to count how many things are there. So if you use the asterisk, it can be 0 or more of the preceding characters. The plus sign is 1 or more, so you need at least 1. The question mark can be 0 or 1. If you need a little bit more control over how many characters, you can use these the curly braces and specify a certain number of characters. So using the N, so whatever number is between the curly braces, that character has to appear exactly that many times. If you want a minimum, then you can just put the comma after the N or after the number. And then if you need between, say, 2 and 4, you could have curly braces 2, 4 to say it has to be there at least twice with a maximum of 4 as an example. And also you can identify the start of the string with the caret symbol. This one here, that's above the number 6 on the keyboard. It's called the caret. And the $sign can specify the end of a string. They're the basic codes that you can use when you're developing the patterns. Now, just a heads up, AI can create regex codes for you, and there's also a lot of resources on the internet for regex. Regex has been around for decades. Programmers have been using it for decades, but it's only just arrived in Excel. So I said there are still a lot of resources on the internet. So table 2 in the article has some examples of putting the codes together, if you like. So this one here, as you can see, is the lowercase and uppercase letters. This one is the last word. When you are working with the regex patterns, it's much easier to find the first thing than the last thing. So you'll find that if you're after the last entry, then that is typically more complex than finding the first entry. Numbers are a whole nother problem. If you're trying to extract certain types of numbers, whole numbers are easy, but after that it gets more complicated. Because we're working with text, numbers are hard to identify because they're going to have the full stop in them. They could be surrounded by brackets if they're like negative. They could have a leading negative symbol on there. They could have percentages involved for numbers. So numbers are fairly complex. They might seem simple, but because they're within text and they're actually treated like text, apart from basic numbers, it can get quite complex to extract numbers out of a text string. The email address, we saw that earlier. And there's the date. If you want to extract dates, there's an example of a date pattern. So let's return to the email example from earlier. This regex pattern is slightly shorter than the previous example, and that's because it's not case sensitive. Now, regex functions are case sensitive by default. So there is a regex setting, it's this comma, comma, 1 on the end of this one. This one here changes the case sensitivity. So if you put a 1 on the end here, it's not case sensitive. And so we don't have to worry about the capital A to Z. We can just use the lowercase a to z in these three instances here. That is also possible, so if you're not worried about case, you can turn the case sensitivity off. It is default as case sensitive. Okay, so let's have a look at some more examples here. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog is a reasonably famous sentence. It includes all the letters of the alphabet, so I've just used some of that in the text here. As we can see, the formula is in column B, and what the formula looks like is in column C, and column D just describes what we're doing. So the first word, really, really easy, just \W with a plus, and that gives you the first word. But have a look. The first word can include numbers. So in this case, we've got numbers directly followed by text, and so the numbers and text come together. Okay, so it doesn't separate numbers. If there's numbers in text and they're together, it will extract them. Now, if you did just want the word, as in the letters, then you can specify them with the A to Z and capital A to Z. And as you can see here, this ignores that 1, 2, 3 that's at the start of the sentence and just extracts text. Now, if we want the last word, then that's the pattern for that. And as you can see, the last word is a lot more complex than the first word. So, and that's a fairly common thing that you will see with the regex patterns. Now, the last word doesn't include the hyphen. So the hyphen is not picked up as a standard word. So you need to include that. So it's really hard to pick up, but this has the hyphen at the end here. That's different from the one above it, and so that's picking up the hyphen. So we've added in the hyphen between the square brackets, and so that's picked up the lazy hyphen dog. Numbers, first whole numbers. Whole numbers are really easy to work with, but as soon as you get into decimals and other types of numbers with minuses and brackets and things like that, then that's when it gets more complicated. Whole numbers are fairly easy to work with. If you want the first separate number, that's slightly different. This one's using the \B, which is a word boundary. So what this is picking up is this one is it's got the 1, 2, 3 together. So we don't want the 1, 2, 3. We want this 4, 4, 3, 2, which is the first number that is sort of independent. It's got a space on either side. And that word boundary using that B on either side allows you to pick that up. You'll note that it ignores the decimal. So the decimal, because we're looking at this as text, decimal numbers are just a number with a decimal point and another number, and so it picks that number up. Here we're after the last separate whole number, which again is always more complicated than the first. So you do need to do testing. There's lots of different ways to do codes, and if you do some investigation on the net, you'll find there's lots of different ways to do the same thing. So you do need to test the patterns with your data to make sure it is returning what you're expecting. Now, updated functions. Good old XLOOKUP, which is the replacement for VLOOKUP, has had an option added to it. So what you can do is you can look up in this case, we're looking up that email pattern. So that's the first entry. That's what we're looking up. So that's the email pattern. We're looking up that email pattern in column A, and we want to return column B. And if we can't find it, we're going to display a blank. But if you have a look at this fifth argument, when we do our comma, you'll see that regex match is number 3. So that is how you can use that, and that's the same in the XMATCH function. So the number 3 on the end is specifying a regex match, which means you can use a pattern to find something. And that's the XLOOKUP function. So that's a new option within, or a new option for the fifth argument, which is called match mode in XLOOKUP. So here's an example of how we can use the REGEXTEST function to do some filtering. So what I've done in this case is I've put that regex pattern in this cell. So C2 has the regex pattern for the email address. So in the article, I did this in a few steps to build the solution, but here is the solution. We've got the filter just showing us the rows in column A that have an email address. So we've got 2 of them. And the REGEXTEST returns true or false if it finds the pattern. And again, we've got that pattern in cell C2. So this REGEXTEST is in the include section of the filter. So it's returning trues and falses, and that is a true when it finds a pattern and a false if it doesn't find the pattern. And then the filter will display none if there's no email addresses in the list. So this, if I remove this part and this part, this will just give me a filter of the entries. So that's filtering the entries in column A to show us the text that includes a email address. Okay, so then around that we could wrap the REGEXEXTRACT. So that's going to take those sentences that we've got, and we can just refer to C2. So that takes those filtered sentences and just extracts out the email address. We could then take that email address, and there's a function in Excel called HYPERLINK. So you can combine the text mail to colon with the email address, and you can do that using the ampersand symbol, which joins text together. You can use the hash symbol, which refers to a spill range. So the emails are actually spilling down, which is part of dynamic arrays. And so by joining mail to with the email address, you instruct the hyperlink function to open up your email application. So if I click this cell, let's do the bottom one, so Sarah. So if I click this cell, it's actually going to take me to my Outlook. It puts the email address in the to section, and then you can complete the rest of the email and send it off. So this will open up, it doesn't send the email, it opens up the email client that you use, and then you can click send. So it's not spamming or anything like that. The inclusion of regex functions gives Excel a lot more flexibility when working with unstructured data, and especially unstructured text, where you might need to be extracting certain types of text from a text string. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.